Discover the incredible love that transformed lives forever after one touching snowfall. Jake stood at the entrance of his mechanic shop, watching the first snowflakes drift down like dreams yet to be realized. The sky was thick with gray, but something about the delicate dance of the snow stirred a flicker of hope within him. Somewhere beneath the layers of rust and disrepair in his small Midwestern town, the pulse of possibility still beat. Yet the weight of his parents' disappointed gazes and the suffocating gloom of their failing business pressed heavily on his chest. After every frostbitten morning, he'd look at their lined faces, etched with the years of financial struggle. He often wondered what they saw when they looked at him. Did they see their dreams slipping away with every broken engine he couldn't fix, every customer he lost to the cheap mechanics down the road? As the snow layered the cracked pavement, Jake swallowed hard against the lump in his throat. He had to push through, he had to do better. At the community center, he volunteered each weekend, pouring his heart into every moment spent with the children. It was there, amidst their laughter and dreams, that he met Mia. Her passion sparkled brighter than any holiday lights, igniting a warmth inside him that had long gone cold. Watching her teach, he was entranced. The way she brought knowledge to life, the hope she kindled in their young hearts, it was breathtaking. It felt unfair, though, that someone so brilliant and full of ambition could ever see him as more than a struggling mechanic from a failing town. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let us continue. But then the storm hit. A fierce blizzard, raging through the town, stole the warmth right out of their hearts. Power lines snapped like brittle sticks, and isolation cast its long shadow over the community. Jake felt a tightness in his chest as he watched flickering candles in his neighbors' windows. Yet through the chaos, Mia paraded her unwavering tenacity, organizing relief efforts and encouraging residents to band together. Hope persisted in a town long grappled by despair. In that moment of greatest impact, as he witnessed the incredible spark of community ignited by Mia's resolve, something within Jake broke open. If they could join hands against the storm, maybe he could confront his fears, too. The barriers holding him captive weren't just outside, they were woven into the fabric of his own self. Doubt. As the snow fell gently, wrapping the world in a blanket of white, Jake stood at the edge of a precipice. Would he be able to embrace a future where dreams weren't just for the privileged? Or would he succumb to the fears that had shackled his heart for so long? He wanted to reclaim his purpose, to rise to the occasion and find love and success even in a world that seemed set against him. Amidst the swirling snow, a question lingered, leaving him with aching anticipation: was love truly enough to unite a divided community, and could he have a place in that brighter future? The next morning greeted Jake with a silence that felt both heavy and hopeful. The town, draped in white, looked as if it had been frozen in time, a bittersweet reminder that even amidst struggle, beauty could emerge. He pulled on his thick gloves and stepped out into the crisp air, each breath like a new beginning. As he walked to the community center, he could see Mia already inside, her smile warmth that could melt even the thickest ice. She stood at the large window, watching children build snowmen outside. Her laughter rang clear, a sound that wrapped around him like a hug. It ignited a spark of determination in him, something he hadn't felt for himself in far too long. "Jake!" she exclaimed when she noticed him. "You made it. I was worried you might get caught in the storm yesterday." "You know how stubborn I am," he chuckled, rubbing the back of his neck. "Been working on that stubbornness since I was knee-high." There was a flicker in her eyes as if she understood his struggle without a single word spoken. "Come on, let us help these kids." Mia beckoned with enthusiasm. Together, they stepped outside to join the children, their joy infecting him like a warm ember. As he watched the kids gleefully throw snowballs and giggle, he felt the weight of his worries begin to lighten. This wasn't the life his parents had envisioned, but it could be something equally beautiful, a community built on love, laughter, and togetherness. Later that day, while the children napped, he and Mia sat on the steps of the community center, sharing stories. The snow crunched underneath them as they leaned back. The conversation flowed easily, each revelation drawing them closer. She spoke of her dreams of becoming an educator, of wanting to inspire generations, while he shared his worries about the shop and his parents' fading hope. "I just don't know if I can ever bring that back for them," he sighed, staring at the road covered in snow. "Sometimes, it feels like a losing battle." Mia turned toward him, her face a mosaic of compassion. "You're stronger than you think, Jake. You show up for these kids. You show up for your family. That counts for more than you know." Her words wrapped around him, giving warmth to the chill that had settled in his bones that he wished he could believe her fully. But doubt bubbled beneath the surface, threatening to drown out her kindness. What if he couldn't? What if he tried and still failed? As they talked, a plan began to form in his mind, a series of community events that could merge their strengths. With Mia's passion for teaching and his skills in mechanics, they could organize workshops that brought people together, fostering a sense of unity and hope. It felt daunting but exhilarating. Maybe this was his chance to break free from the grip of fear. "I have an idea," Jake said, excitement creeping into his voice. "What if we launched a community event? A fun day where everyone comes together, maybe some mechanics tips, but focused on bringing joy." Mia's eyes sparkled with intrigue. "I love it. We could teach basic car maintenance, maybe turn it into a fundraiser for families in need, too." As they plotted their next steps, hope began to blossom. They could do this together. But then, Jake felt the weight of his unresolved fear creep back. What if he didn't meet their expectations? Would this new venture bring him closer to Mia or pull them apart? "Jake." She noticed his hesitation, concern shadowing her brow. "What's on your mind?" "Just the fear of failing, I guess," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "Then let us face that fear together," she urged, a small smile breaking through her expression. "You don't have to do this alone." As they sat under the gentle flakes coming down, he caught a glimpse of what life could hold. But the question remained, could he truly summon the strength to face the doubts creeping in as winter pressed on around them? The next day, the winter sun shone bright, casting sparkles on the new layer of snow. Jake woke up filled with a mix of excitement and a hint of anxiety. The idea from yesterday seemed more than just a whimsical thought, it was blossoming into something real. With determination pushing him into action, he dressed quickly and headed straight to the community center. Instead of the usual quiet, the center buzzed with activities. Families gathered, children darted from one snowy creation to another, and laughter poured out into the chilly air. Mia was at the center of it all, helping kids assemble the parts of their makeshift sleds. Seeing her radiant smile amid the chaos knocked the air from his lungs. "Jake!" she called out, her voice ringing like the sweetest chime. "I've been thinking about the event. What if we kick it off with a little competition? A snowman building contest to get everyone excited?" Jake grinned, feeling a flicker of enthusiasm ignite within him. "That sounds perfect. We can divide everyone into teams and have some prizes for the best sculptures." As they discussed the details, Jake marveled at how easy it was to plan with Mia. Their ideas melded seamlessly, each suggestion revealing a small part of their shared vision. It felt like building not just an event, but a future. They spent the morning preparing flyers together, cutting and pasting in the community center's warm atmosphere. The sun streamed through the windows as they exchanged playful banter and the occasional bump of elbows. Each moment fueled Jake's growing belief that this event could breathe life back into the community and possibly his own spirit. Around noon, as they took a moment to rest, Mia leaned against the wall, her eyes sparkling with ideas. "You know, Jake, this is more than just a fundraiser. It's a chance to remind everyone that we're in this together. Sometimes people forget that they're not alone." "Yeah," Jake replied, feeling a deep-seated yearning to transform that understanding into action. I want my family to feel that too. I keep thinking about how this could bring everyone together, make them feel supported. Mia's gaze softened. Your family will see that, Jake. They've watched you struggle, but they'll also see you rise. This event isn't about perfection, it's about connection. Her words landed hard in his chest. Could this truly be the turning point for him? The thought was both exhilarating and terrifying. After a full day of brainstorming, they decided to venture outside for a quick break. The crisp air met their cheeks, invigorating them both. As they breathed in the beauty of their snowy world, Jake couldn't help but find himself entranced by Mia's laughter as she tossed snow into the air. All right, Snow Queen. I think you've thrown all the snow you can. He teased, throwing a handful at her. She squealed, dodging instinctively, and in that blink, he recognized a moment that felt profound. With hearts racing and laughter echoing, they engaged in a playful snowball fight. Each hit brought a smile, each dodge brought a blush. For the first time in a long time, Jake peeled back layers of his worries and let joy spill out into the cold air. But as they collapsed onto the snow, breaths panting and eyes shining, he felt a creeping fear tethering him back. What if all of this was just a moment of fun, fleeting and temporary? Hey, Mia said softly, sensing his shift. Whatever happens, remember this feeling. We'll face it all, together. Yeah, together. But deep down, a storm brewing within Jake questioned if he could carry that promise through the shadows looming over him. As they lay there, the peaceful world around them contrasted with the rising doubts in Jake's heart. He wanted to believe in that togetherness. But could he really hold on to it when the doubts began to swirl? As Mia's hand brushed against his, sending a surge of warmth through him, he wondered if he was ready for everything this new journey would bring. And with that thought, the weight of uncertainty settled back in. Was he ready to face the challenges ahead, or would fear pull him under once again? The next day, the excitement around the community center intensified. News of the snowman building contest spread quickly, and the center was alive with energy. Families poured in, eager to participate and reconnect. Jake felt a mixture of dread and thrill as he arrived, the weight of the upcoming event pressing heavily on his shoulders. That he found Mia at the front desk, busily handing out flyers and organizing supplies. Her enthusiasm was contagious, and as she spotted him, her smile lit up the room. Jake! Look at all the people signing up. She pointed to a growing list on the board, the names filling the space like a promise. Wow, that's incredible. He replied, his heart swelling with a newfound sense of hope. Maybe this was the start of something bigger than he originally thought. Together, they finalized the last-minute details, setting up stations for hot cocoa, prizes, and decorations. Jake paused, stealing a glance at Mia as she animatedly chatted with a group of children, her hair catching the sunlight pouring through the windows. She seemed to radiate warmth, and he wondered again what it would be like to have that light in his life every day. Ready for this? She asked, breaking his train of thought. More than ready, he replied. But as he said it, he felt a slight tremor in his voice. Could he really handle the expectations? He wanted to bring joy to the community, but what if he fell short? The contest started with a roar of excitement. Kids squealed with delight as they scrambled to gather snow, strategizing with their teams. Laughter flew through the air like snowflakes cascading from the branches. It was chaotic but beautiful, reminding Jake of simpler times when joy came without reservation. As the minutes ticked by, Jake felt himself getting lost in the moment. He worked alongside Mia, sharing tips with the kids and reinforcing that this wasn't just about winning but about coming together. His heart swelled with a mixture of pride and unease when he noticed his little brother Caleb watching from the sidelines, clutching a small snowball and looking unsure. In that split second, Jake felt an urgency pulse through him. This was the moment he had been waiting for, not only to unify the community but to reach out to his family. He jogged over to Caleb, his heart pounding. Hey! You should join us. Jake said, kneeling to meet his brother's eyes. Look at how much fun everyone's having. Come on. Caleb hesitated, his gaze shifting from Jake to the group of kids building their snowmen. They'll laugh at me, Jake. No, they won't. Look, I'll be right here with you. We'll make the best snowman together. Jake extended his hand, warmth radiating between them as he remembered how it felt to support each other. Slowly, Caleb nodded, the shadow of doubt lifting. They ran over to grab more snow, laughter bubbling up between them. As they built their snowman, Jake felt a familiar lightness begin to replace that gnawing fear. He caught glimpses of the families smiling together, kids giggling, chairs filled with steaming cups of cocoa, and pure happiness enveloping them all. Mia appeared beside him, her eyes sparkling with gratitude. Look at your brother. You did that. Jake felt something break inside him, a dam of pent-up fears seemed to crack, allowing joy to filter through. Mia, I'm really scared this won't last, he admitted quietly. Her smile faltered for just a moment, then returned stronger. But that's just life, Jake. Emotions come and go, but these moments, this connection, this is what can last. Focus on now. As Jake looked at Caleb, joy overcoming fear, he wondered if he could truly hold on to this, a community, his brother, and Mia by his side. Could he nurture this spark, this connection, into something greater? As the afternoon faded into dusk, colorful twinkling lights surrounded the center, casting a magical glow over everyone gathered. Jake took a deep breath, feeling the excitement crackling in the air, but just as he embraced the moment, a sudden shout rang through the crowd. The snowman competition results are in. His heart raced. Would they be ready for what came next, or would reality slice through this happiness like a cold winter wind? The moment of truth was about to unfold. The crowd fell silent, anticipation thick in the air. Jake's heart thundered in his chest. He glanced over at Mia, her expression shifting from excitement to nervousness, mirroring his own. The contest judge, a local elder known for his passionate speeches about community spirit, climbed onto a hay bale to speak. Thank you all for coming out today, his voice boomed, drawing everyone's attention. What a remarkable sight we've witnessed. So many creative snowmen representing not just individual talent, but the spirit of our community together. Cheers erupted in response, drowning out Jake's swirling thoughts. He had encouraged Caleb and the other kids to build a snowman, but this wasn't just about the competition anymore. It was about connection, laughter, and bridging gaps, the very things that had felt lost for so long. And now, the judge continued, this year's winner is a testament to creativity and teamwork. He paused for effect, scanning the crowd and creating suspense. Jake tightened his grip around Caleb's small shoulder. As if sensing the buildup, Caleb looked up at Jake, his eyes wide with hope. Do you think we could win? Jake's heart twisted at the question. No matter what happens, buddy, we did something amazing today. We came together. He smiled at his brother, willing the moment to last, no matter the outcome. Finally, the judge announced the winning team. The prize goes to the Smith family for their reimagined snowman, complete with a scarf and top hat. Cheers erupted as the Smiths made their way to the front, but for a moment, Jake felt his heart sink. They hadn't won. But then he looked down at Caleb, whose face almost broke his heart. Anguish swept over him, and he knelt down. I'm so proud of you, Caleb, he whispered. We did it together. That's what counts, right? A small smile surfaced, illuminating Caleb's face. Yeah. It was fun. As the crowd started to disperse, Mia approached them, holding steaming cups of cocoa. You both were fantastic. Look how many kids wanted to join in. You brought everyone together today. In that instant, Jake felt a surge of warmth. Perhaps it was true what Mia had said about connection. Maybe it wasn't just about winning but about these shared moments that created lasting bonds. The way families laughed, how Caleb's smile lit up, and the warmth of Mia so close. Suddenly, a shadow fell over the joyful scene. Jake turned, spotting a familiar figure standing at the edge of the gathering, a face he hadn't seen in years. His father, heart racing, Jake could hardly believe it. Was this real? Had he really come? The years of silence and hurt rushed back, choking him for a moment. But then he felt a small hand squeeze his own. Caleb, grounding him. Is that? Caleb's voice trailed off, eyes flickering between Jake and the man he had only heard stories about. Jake's throat tightened. I think so, he managed. Before he could process it, his father took a hesitant step forward, uncertainty written all over his face. Jake's mind raced. What if this confrontation pulled them apart instead of bringing them closer? As the moment hung in the air, he could feel the warmth of the day slipping into a brisk chill. Could they really break through all the past hurts? Or was this just the beginning of something complicated? Caleb tugged at Jake's sleeve, eyes glistening with curiosity and innocence. Are you okay? Jake took a deep breath. I don't know yet. As the first flakes of snow began to fall gently around them, he realized that sometimes, hope emerges amidst the unexpected. Would this snowfall also blanket old wounds, or would it expose them even more? With his father taking another step forward, Jake stood frozen between apprehension and the possibility of rebuilding what was broken. What would this mean for him, his brother, and for the community they had just found? Jake's pulse quickened as his father came closer. The man looked older, a little frazzled, but still unmistakably Jake's dad. Memories surged, the laughter, the arguments, the day he walked away. Could years of estrangement be mended here, today, in front of all these people? Jake, his father said, voice low and uncertain. I didn't know you were here. The awkwardness hung between them, heavy and palpable. Jake couldn't find the words. He glanced down at Caleb, who was watching with wide eyes, sensing the tension. Hi, Jake finally managed, fighting back the flood of emotions threatening to spill over. Hi, his father replied, shifting his feet in the snow. There was no fire in his eyes, only a deep regret that echoed through the silence. I came to see the festival, his father continued, his gaze drifting toward the snowmen scattered around, each bringing back more memories than Jake was prepared to handle. Was hoping to see you, too, he added, and for a brief moment, the earnestness in his father's voice cut through the chill in the air like a hot knife through butter. What do you want, Dad? Jake's words slipped out before he could stop them, stubborn hurt bubbling to the surface. His father's shoulders slumped. To apologize. I shouldn't have left. A knot tightened in Jake's stomach. Apologies meant nothing after years of absence. But as he looked at Caleb, who was still clutching Jake's sleeve, he felt the weight of his brother's innocent hope resting on him. His little brother, wanting a family, wanting a connection. Jake took a deep breath. We could use some time together, maybe, but I can't just forget everything. A flicker of understanding crossed his father's face. I didn't expect you to. But I want to try. Caleb's small voice broke the heavy moment. Can he stay with us, Jake? That innocence, that childlike hope, melted something in Jake's heart. The crowd in the distance continued to chatter, kids laughing and playing in the snow, but for Jake, the noise had faded, replaced by a singular focus on the man in front of him, the man who had walked away but was now wanting to walk back in. I don't know about that right now, Jake said slowly, considering everything they had been through. But maybe we can start with a hot chocolate. Mia, sensing the tension but also the significance of this moment, stepped closer, holding her cup out. Want to join us? She asked softly, her eyes glimmering with support and encouragement. Caleb's eyes lit up at the thought of cocoa. Jake's heart swelled a little at the kindness radiating from Mia. Perhaps this was the kind of support he needed, a reminder that even when family fell apart, friendships could help stitch things back together. For a second, Jake's father hesitated, gauging the atmosphere. Finally, a tentative smile broke through his solemnity. I'd like that. As they began to walk toward the makeshift picnic table where steaming mugs awaited them, Jake felt the chill begin to lift. His heart was still guarded, but maybe this wasn't just about rebuilding what was lost. It could be about new beginnings, too. but inside, the questions lingered. What kind of relationship could ever emerge from this unexpected reunion? Could they really repair what was broken, or was it a path leading to more hurt? The answer danced just out of reach, as elusive as the snowflakes now swirling around them. But for now, he had made a choice, and it felt like a small step toward hope. As they gathered around the table, laughter and conversation starting to flow, Jake suddenly wondered what would happen next. Could this tentative truce transform into something stronger? Or would the past still cast its long shadow over their future? The aroma of hot chocolate filled the crisp winter air as they huddled together around the wooden picnic table, steam rising from the mugs like clouds in a clear blue sky. Jake felt Caleb shift closer to him, leaning in as if seeking warmth not just from the drink but from the comfort of his brother's presence. "Can I have marshmallows?" Caleb asked, his eyes shining with innocence and joy. It was a simple question, yet it reminded Jake of simpler times, before everything fell apart. "Of course, buddy," Jake replied, grabbing a handful of marshmallows from a nearby bag and plopping them into Caleb's cup. The boy's face broke into a toothy grin that tugged at Jake's heart. "You still love marshmallows, huh?" Jake's father asked, a touch of nostalgia softening his features. Caleb nodded fiercely, his gaze darting back and forth between Jake and their father, a little spark of hope kindling in the air. "They make hot chocolate the best." That innocent enthusiasm hung in the air, but Jake wrestled with his emotions. Each laugh Caleb shared with their father twisted something inside him. Was it bitterness? Anger? Or maybe, just maybe, it was the flicker of forgiveness he was terrified to acknowledge. As they sipped their drinks, the earlier awkwardness began to fade. Jake's father shared stories about his own childhood winters, about building snowmen with his friends and the wonder of waking up to a snow-covered world. With each anecdote, Jake inspected the man's face, searching for signs of sincerity. Was this just surface talk, or was his dad truly trying to reconnect? "Jake," his father said, wiping cocoa-stained hands on his jeans, "I know it can't just be fixed with a few cups of hot chocolate. But I want to learn about your life, about what I missed." Jake's heart raced at the admission. Could he really let his father back in? Or was that just wishful thinking, a fantasy of a perfect family that would never exist? Silence lingered for a moment, thick and heavy like the snowfall outside. Mia, sensing Jake's turmoil, reached for his hand and squeezed, offering silent support. "It's okay to let him in a little, Jake," she whispered, her voice barely more than a gentle breeze. Jake met her gaze, grateful for her presence, yet the fear loomed over him like a shadow cast by a winter tree. It's complicated," he finally managed to respond, looking back at his father. "I know," his father replied softly. "And I'm sorry for every complicated moment I created. I want to work through it, Jake. All the hurt, all the confusion. I want to try." Layers of emotions swirled within Jake, stitching together hope and skepticism. "Try for what?" he questioned, a defensive edge creeping into his voice. "You can't just waltz back in and expect everything to be fine. I can't promise anything, not after everything." His father nodded, a solemn understanding washing over his face. "I don't expect you to forgive me today. Or tomorrow. But I'm here now, and I want to be part of your life if you'll let me." Caleb watched them, sensing the gravity of the moment, his little fingers wrapping tightly around his mug. The world around them buzzed joyfully with festival sounds, but here, in this small pocket of time, it felt like everything had narrowed down to family and connection. Jake's heart thumped loudly in his chest, uncertainty weaving through him like the gentle flurries around them. The fear of opening up battled with a longing to believe in the possibility of family. Could he really let his guard down? As he took a sip of his hot chocolate, Jake realized that perhaps this moment wasn't about the past at all. It was about taking a step toward something undefined, fragile yet full of potential. Just then, Caleb tugged on his sleeve. "Are we going to be a family again, Jake?" Jake looked at his little brother, the earnest hope written all over his face. At that moment, he knew the answer could change everything. But it would take courage to explore that road. Courage he wasn't sure he had. Before he could respond, snow began to fall heavier, blanketing the ground in soft white layers, erasing old footprints. Would their pasts be buried beneath this new snowfall as well? Jake turned back to his father, and their eyes locked. It felt like the first unbroken thread of a new beginning. Maybe we can start with a walk, Jake said quietly, feeling both anxiety and hope swirling within him. As they stood up, the question of how to move forward shimmered in the air, lingering like the snowflakes that danced around them. Would the journey bring them closer, or would it reveal deeper rifts? The snow continued to fall, swirling in tight patterns as they stepped away from the picnic table. Jake felt the chills seep into his bones, but it couldn't compare to the warmth blooming in his chest as he walked alongside Caleb and their father. "Let us head to the lake," Jake suggested, his voice steady despite the nervous flutter in his stomach. He wanted to keep the momentum alive, to hold on to this fragile moment of connection. "Yeah. We can make snow angels," Caleb chimed, his excitement bubbling over, and just like that, the atmosphere shifted. As they walked, Jake stole glances at his father. Each step felt like venturing through an unknown path, where every twist took courage. "You know, Dad," he began, hesitating slightly. "I remember the stories you told me about the lake, the one where we de-skate and slide around. I used to think it was magical." Jake's father's eyes lit up at the mention of the past. "We had some great times there. I used to love skating with you." The mention of those memories opened a door Jake thought had long been closed. But then he started, struggling with the words. "Then it all changed. You left, and it felt like everything good just vanished." "There's no easy excuse for what happened," his father replied, his voice earnest, laced with regret. "But I want to be a part of your world again. This time, I'll do better." Caleb, oblivious to the weight of their conversation, bounded ahead, creating trails in the snow, laughter bubbling like a spring welling on a warm day. Jake watched him, an anchor to the present and a reminder of hope. "I want that too," Jake admitted, feeling the choke of emotion build in his throat. "But it's a long road ahead. I don't know if it can just be fixed by a walk and some snow angels." His father nodded, understanding etched on his face. "I'm not asking for perfection. Just a chance to prove I can be a better father, even if it takes time." They reached the edge of the lake, its surface dusted with a delicate layer of newly fallen snow, glistening like a blanket of diamonds in the sunlight. Jake took a deep breath, inhaling the cold air mixed with the scent of pine and fresh snow. It felt like a fresh start, an opportunity ignited by Caleb's laughter ringing through the quiet woods. "Let us make some snow angels," Jake finally said, turning to see Caleb bouncing on his feet in excitement. "The best." Caleb squealed, diving into the powdery snow, arms flailing and laughter spilling from his lips. Jake felt a smile stretch across his face as his father joined Caleb, the two of them creating a flurry of snowflakes and joy. He couldn't remember the last time he saw his father engage with Caleb like this. It stirred something inside him, something that had been locked away for far too long. Cautiously, he stepped into the shallow snow beside them. As he laid back and began to wave his arms, the coolness enveloped him, pushing away the tension that had been clanging in his chest. "Look! Mine's the biggest!" Caleb shouted, proudly examining his angel. In that moment, surrounded by laughter and the sound of winter, Jake realized that perhaps this was the first step towards healing. Maybe it wasn't about returning to the past, but rather about crafting a new narrative together, one defined not by mistakes, but by the resilience to forge ahead. Just as he gathered the courage to join in, a loud cheer echoed in the distance. Jake turned to see a group of kids tugging sleds near a slope, their collective joy a reminder of community spirit. Suddenly, an idea sparked in his mind. "How about a sled race?" he called out, his voice cutting through the winter air. Caleb's eyes widened, and before he could respond, Jake found himself with his father's hand on his shoulder, a conspiratorial grin on his face. "Let us show them how it's done." As they began walking toward the hill, Jake felt something shift within him. The journey ahead might still be messy, but together, side by side, they could shape something beautiful even if it meant crashing into a few snowbanks along the way. But as they marched forward, a flicker of doubt crept back in. With all the hope building between them, what if this was just another moment of illusion? Could it last beyond today's laughter? He looked at Caleb, his innocent face reflecting pure joy, and wondered what tomorrow would bring. Would they be able to hold on to this moment, or would life sweep them back into old patterns? As they trudged toward the hill, Jake felt the weight of that question heavy on his heart. Was this joy just a fleeting glimpse of what could be, or was it the start of something real? The laughter of Caleb and his father echoed around them, but each chuckle reverberated in Jake's chest, mingling hope with hesitation. Caleb raced ahead, whooping as he sprinted toward the sledding hill. The little boy's exuberance reminded Jake of a time when the three of them spent winter afternoons buzzing with excitement, careless and warm in each other's company. But those memories felt far away, clouded by the years of silence and distance that followed. "Come on, Jake." His father's voice jolted him from his thoughts. "Let us catch up to him." Jake nodded, shaking off the doubts as he picked up his pace. As they reached the slope, the view opened up to a slope crowned in fresh snow. Kids of all ages were already climbing up and tumbling down, their bright jacket splashes of color against the cool backdrop of the winter day. His father bent to help Caleb secure his sled, and the sight struck a chord within Jake. He couldn't remember the last time he saw his dad take initiative, putting effort into making the day special. "Hey, Dad," he called, trying to inject some lightness into his tone, "you ready to race?" His father smirked, that familiar glint returning to his eyes. "Just try to keep up." Jake felt a rush of adrenaline at the challenge, feeling the warmth of companionship push away the cold lurking in the corners of his doubt. He grabbed a sled, positioning himself next to Caleb. "Okay, on 3. Jake exclaimed, looking back at his father. Both Caleb and his dad, wide-eyed and ready, nodded eagerly. 1, 2, 3. They pushed off simultaneously, the sled speeding down the hill. The wind whipped against their faces as laughter blended with exhilaration. For those few seconds, all Jake could feel was the rush of the moment, the cold air, the joyous shouts, the thrill of flying down the slope. It was a fleeting oasis from the uncertainty that had shadowed him. As they reached the bottom, Caleb's high-pitched giggles filled the air. "Let us go again," he exclaimed, scrambling for the nearest sled. "It's a race, then," his father added, eyes twinkling with mischief. Jake felt a warmth blooming inside him again. They raced back up the hill, breathless, engaged, and full of laughter. Every trip became a little more daring, the sleds flying faster, the turns sharper, the joy deeper. The snow beneath them became their canvas, one etched with their laughter and newfound connection, but just as Jake was about to surrender fully to this bliss, his father suddenly paused. "Hold on," he said, scanning the crowd nearby. "I think I see someone I need to catch up with." Jake's brow furrowed. "Who?" The thought made him uneasy, the laughter suddenly feeling muted. "Just someone I used to know. I didn't expect to see them here." At that moment, the carefree laughter trembled into something heavier. Jake felt a shift in the air, the lingering warmth growing colder. Was this unexpected encounter a reminder of old ghosts that could creep back in, disrupting the glimmer of hope they were trying to build? Before he could process the swirling emotions, Caleb tugged on his sleeve, breaking his concentration. "Can we sled some more?" Jake nodded, forcing a smile. "Yeah, let us go." As they raced down the hill again, the laughter echoed, but a part of him lingered in uncertainty, caught between what was blooming in their lives and the revealed tension of the past. But just then, right at the bottom of the slope, Jake caught sight of a familiar face in the crowd, one he thought he'd never see again. His heart raced. What might this stranger bring back into their fragile moment? Would it shatter what they had started to build, or could it open a door to something even greater? The instinct to run or to embrace surged within him. Confusion swirled alongside hope, and he felt the tug of destiny lurking just outside of reach. The wind picked up, swirling the snow into a frenzy around Jake, but he didn't feel the bite of the cold. Instead, his heart raced at the sight of the familiar figure. It was Colin, his childhood friend, the one who had moved away during high school, leaving behind a legacy of dreams lost to distance and time. "Jake!" Colin shouted, his voice cutting through the laughter and chaos of the hill. As they locked eyes, memories flooded back, endless summers, shared laughter, plans that fell victim to distance. "I heard about the event. I had to come see it." Jake swallowed hard, caught off guard. "Colin! I can't believe you're here." They rushed toward each other, their embrace firm but filled with the weight of years apart. "How have you been? Where've you been?" "I've been around, working and figuring life out," Colin shrugged, glancing toward the lively scene. "But I've missed this place. And I heard about the blizzard. I came back to help where I can." Jake stepped back, feeling a spark of possibility flicker to life. "You should have seen it. Mia and I organized a snowman building competition, and it's been beautiful, a chance for everyone to reconnect." Colin's eyes lit up, his voice warming with enthusiasm. "That's amazing. This town's always had the spirit, but it needs people like you to bring it back together." Jake felt the warmth of Colin's encouragement wrap around him, but a part of him brushed hesitance against the backdrop of his family's pain. "I'm trying, Colin. It's complicated with my dad. He showed up today after years away." "Oh man, I'm sorry." "That's heavy," Colin said, his expression shifting to empathy. "But maybe this is the perfect time to begin healing. It sounds like you're surrounded by love and hope." Jake nodded, watching Caleb as he laughed with their father, oblivious to the weight of their past. Could Colin be right? Was this really a chance for them to start anew? Just then, the cry of laughter from Caleb beckoned him, pulling his attention back to his brother. "Jake! Come race with us." The innocence in Caleb's voice sparked a flood of warmth within him. There was joy here, real, palpable joy, happiness braided with hope that cast a bright light against the shadows. Jake looked back to Colin. "Want to join us?" he asked, excitement mixing with uncertainty. "Absolutely," Colin smiled, and together they ran down toward the slope, laughter spilling as easy as the snowflakes that danced around them. Caleb mustered all his energy and jumped up and down on his sled. He tugged at Jake's arm. "I want to go again. Race us, quick." Jake's heart swelled. In this moment, encircled by love and laughter, he felt a flicker of anticipation regarding the future. As they raced down the slope together, the old glories began to feel intertwined with the present. They may not have won the past back, but here in this moment, it felt like life was offering them a chance to build anew, laughter, trust, and perhaps a bit of family redefined. Later, as they settled in for cocoa around the picnic table again, Jake took a deep breath, feeling lighter. "I think I'm finally ready to let go of some hurt," he said, casting a quick glance at his father. "It's just I need to see some actions before I can fully move on." His father's eyes softened in acknowledgement. "I understand, Jake. I've got a lot to prove, and I will show you I can be different this time." With Caleb tucked between them, sipping hot cocoa, Jake felt like warmth could thaw ice that had lingered between them for far too long. It would take time, days ahead filled with uncertainties and healing journeys, but the threads of connection were knitting together, forming something vibrant. Together, Jake whispered, smiling at Mia as she joined, catching the essence of their shared moment. Together, they affirmed around the table, as snow continued to fall, wrapping the community in a blanket of hope. As twilight painted the town in shades of comfort, the laughter and joy unspooled moments of love, revealing that perhaps this snowfall truly would blanket the past. It would usher in a new chapter of togetherness forged through connection, understanding, and hope, and just like that, Jake felt the dawning of a brighter future unfold before him, one marked by love in all its forms, of family renewed, friendship strengthened, and community bonds woven tighter. He took a deep breath, ready to embrace it all. As they raised their mugs for a toast, Jake finally understood, it wasn't about perfection, it was about this journey, moving forward as one, together. Now, this is the moment for you. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you won't miss the next exclusive stories that inspire and uplift. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and support the content you love. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this heartwarming ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformational story. Only true fans understand how vital it is to be part of this community.